I really do love how the WNBA is a very emerging organization. I love how a lot of these women on the team in the WNBA are really getting the recognition that they deserve. The spotlight is on them a lot. And even some are getting their own shoes, specifically Asia Wilson. And her shoe is one of the better basketball shoes that I've seen in a while, and I'm looking at it right now. And I really do enjoy this shoe. It gives off a fresh feel. It doesn't look like a copy and paste of a Kobe, which I feel like we've been getting from a lot of the guys, you know what I'm saying, in the NBA and just shoes in general, right? I feel like a lot of these shoes are just copy and paste of one another. But this Asia Wilson shoe, it gives off a really refreshing feel. It feels like her own signature is really attached to this. And a lot of people genuinely enjoy this shoe. So Nike, why are you trying to ruin a good thing? I honestly hate how they are how are they tackling the Asia Wilsons, bro. And I think it could potentially ruin the shoe. Now, let's start with the marketing, the promotion, and everything like that. I absolutely enjoyed the promotions. We had an early release at a pop-up, I think at Foot Locker, and everybody enjoyed it. Everybody loved it. Everybody wanted to pop out for Asia. Asia is a very likable person. So just off the strength of love, a lot of people pulled up. Her shoes sold out. I think the only size that didn't sell out was toddlers. So I'm not even going to count that. So she had a full sellout release. However, the early release was months before the actual release. So I thought that was kind of weird because, especially in this day and age, and when it comes to sneakers, there's just so many sneakers that are coming about, especially in 2025, to the point where you have to really capitalize on heat. All of the very good marketing that we've seen this year, where it comes from the 85 breads or the Nigels, things like that, even the unions on the lowest of levels, right? All of this promotion and marketing was done in a week span or a month at max span of the actual release. I would say Nigel's was probably the longest, but however, his just kept on going until literally the day of the release. But Asia, she literally just had her one event, and then now, maybe a week before, she dropped a commercial. Shout out to the Obamas, right? So I'm like, this is very spaced out. And I'm like, I feel like that we shouldn't have did it that far out because now we're losing hype. Yes, everybody loved the Asia Wilsons when they early dropped. And people were having the whole conversation of resellers. There were a lot of high bids on early pairs on eBay. So a lot of people were getting mad. That's what drives the hype. And that's what's going to drive a lot of people to buy it. However, they just had to wait months to get it. So now, fast forward, we have an actual release date, which is May 6th and May 8th, which, as a sneakerhead who advocaatly does research on shoes, didn't really understand why there was two dates, and it wasn't really clear on two different dates, or on this date or what's dropping on that date. And so then I see that they confirmed the numbers for the Asia Wilsons on sneakers for the stock, and it was only 3,000 pairs. And just to put that in perspective, we have way more pairs dropping when it comes to Travis Scott's, Off-Whites, Kobe's, J Balvin's, Cactus Flea Markets, like literally a big collab that you could think of, any limited product you can think of. More than likely, it was more than 3,000 pairs. 3,000 pairs is like extremely. 85 breads was only 10,000 pairs. So Asia Wilsons are 7,000 less than the bread 85s, which is one of the best or one of the most hyped shoes of this year. And everybody was literally going crazy for them, right? So I said, I don't like that. I really don't like that at all. Because I was like, I don't think that's a fair number. And I started, after the drop had happened, I seen all these headlines of, oh my God, Asia Wilson signature sneaker sells out in less than 3 minutes. Oh my God, like there's a whole bunch of headlines of just selling out. And it's like, no, and I do not want to take anything from her because this has absolutely nothing to do with her whatsoever. I do think that they could put like way more pairs on there and it was still sold out. Like I don't want to throw an exact number, but easily way more pairs on sneakers and it would have still sold out. So I don't like these headlines because it's kind of disinformation. It's like purposely drop them with the lowest stock possible to have this just fake hype that you guys love doing in 2025, which honestly isn't really working. Like, yes, we thought that it was going to work at first of just let's just make everything limited to build this like fake, this non-organic hype. And it's just not working because people get irritated. People are like, bro, well, if I can't get it and it's just virtually impossible to get, I'm not even gonna try. So putting this at 3,000 pairs and having all these headlines to produce this hype, that's just going to make a lot of people just agitated. Now, granted, we do have, I guess, technically the actual release date on the 8th because I actually went to my Nike store to go pick up some Asia Wilsons, and they told me that only the Las Vegas store was dropping them in store today. And I would have to wait on Thursday. And I was like, well, I didn't know that because on every website it said sneakers and Nike on the 6th, everybody else on the 8th. So I'm thinking Nike and sneakers 6, Foot Lockers, etc. on the 8th. So that's also very confusing, especially with a lot of the people that are trying for this shoe. A lot of them is going to be women, and they are not like dialed in sneakers, and they're not like doing their. I feel like this is a shoe that you really don't need to do intense. You shouldn't have to do intense research for. And then I started looking at the Asia, and I said, bro, all of her other colors are in week spans. Like literally next we're dropping more colors. And I'm like, they literally did this on purpose because I'm like, why wouldn't you give the signature sneaker, which in my opinion, just looking at I think it's like 3 other colors. I think it's like an all blue, a pink and black, and an all white. This is, in my opinion, this is my favorite one, and I think this is easily the best one. And it's like, this is her first signature sneaker. I feel like you guys should be able to give it some breathing room to just play out, have the hype go on, let people kind of search for like that, and just let it get its spotlight and shine. So it doesn't make sense for you guys to drop colors immediately after. But then I said, oh, well, it all makes sense because now that I'm going on the comments of all these headlines of, oh my gosh, Asia Wilson sold out instantly, da da da. You have a bunch of women and men, honestly, in the comments like, man, I was able to get. And she was like, now I'll probably settle for the colorway next week just to support Asia or just to have it. And I'm like, no, like, yes, like, for sure. But it's like, they don't know that there's going to be way more pairs on the 8th. A lot of people really only know sneakers. So for you to put 3,000 pairs on sneakers, and that's a lot of people's only way of knowing. And then it drops on a Thursday, so a lot of people are going to be at work for the release, and a lot of people don't even know about that. So I was like, I don't think that's really good. Like, yes, maybe like diversify, like people to be shopping and looking for the next coming releases. But I feel like this is just so non-organic. Like, and the non-organic methods, they really show. Like, eventually, like as we get released and we have other competitors when it comes to similar shoes, all that non-organic hype of this out and these like convoluted numbers, it'll really show in. So it is no hate. Like I said, I really do enjoy this shoe. I love it. I loved it when it first popped out. I love that the women are getting their recognition. I love that they're doing something that, if they're unique and genuine, especially since a lot of the men in the league, their shoes are very like copying. And really like they're kind of like, but it is a lot of them are like on their 15th signature sneaker. You know what I mean? So no hate to Asia. I really do hope the utmost success for her. But Nike, why are we ruining this, bro? Like, we shouldn't be doing it like this, bro. But you guys can let me know your opinion on this whole rollout. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it should have been 3,000 pairs. I don't think we should be having 2 release dates. And yeah, have everything organic because this all this fake hype stuff. Like, why are we producing fake hype for a basketball shoe, man? Come on. That ain't so. With that being said, fall out. Peace.